What started me in broadcasting was listening to the radio. And as everyone likes to say in radio, we do programs, we make the news for people who work with their hands. Mm-hmm. And that was me. I was either pregnant or with a new baby and did a lot of work with my hands. What I was doing in New York at the time was Indian rights work, but I was also doing poetry and theater.
So for her, making sure that not just Native people had a voice, but also Native women had a voice, making sure that Native children are spoken for. So when I say that, her children, you could take that both literally and figuratively, that the people around her that were either her peers, and let's keep this real, she's always been kind of an old soul. So even though she may have had peers who were similar in age, she's kind of always been one of these torches that led the way. And I really do believe that at her heart, she has always described herself as a writer.
So what we were doing was trying to educate non-natives about natives. We were trying to educate our own people about each other. And a lot of the Native American community in New York City had grown up there. There were 2 and 3 generations in the city, or some even 4. And while some had went back and forth and knew their own people culturally, like the Mohawks and other Iroquois iron workers, who traveled back and forth between home and the city. A lot of people didn't. They didn't go back to their homes or couldn't, and what they knew was who they were as urban Native people. So it was a rich group of people that we knew, and so all of that was, I think, very important.
And one of my favorite lines of hers is that she's not a lawyer, she just writes the laws. Well, to me, neither the lawyer, the law, none of that was really the interesting part. The really fascinating part was the writing, the thinking, the formulation of ideas to create something that would inspire others.
I had just so many people who inspired me and helped me get through things. Philip Deere was an important influence in my life. Muscogee relative from Nuyakv, ceremonial grad, and he was a really good observer of history and person who really taught me life lessons. So I always thank him. Almost every writer and artist I ever met when I was growing up, and then ever since, really have influenced me. One of the people who was a great influence on me was Howard Simons, who was the managing editor of the Washington Post, and he was great. But he did a lot of, he talked to various columnists, for example, to get, until one of them was interested in writing something about getting rid of the name of the Washington football team that was so objectionable to so many of us. And that was Richard Cohen, his longtime friend and columnist. And so he did. I mean, he looked into it and interviewed me and others, and did the first column about that the Post had ever done. And I have to say that Joe Haidt is one of those people who has helped me more than he probably even knows he has.
And that, quite frankly, there are just going to be millions of people who will never know the extent to which she influenced their lives. And the fact that she is okay with that. The fact that she is being celebrated in some regard later in her life is wonderful. But the fact that she long ago made the decision to say, hey, look, I'm not doing this for X, Y, and Z reason other than the work needs to get done. One of the favorite phrases that we have in our family is, the work always continues.